Hello everybody, Dave from Eerie Arachnids. Just a real quick video, a real quick intro. What's going on in this video? We have the Monocentropus balfouri communal. We also have the new home for the Damon diadema. So you'll see some pictures and video of the Damon diadema. You'll see the post-homing or rehoming of these balfouri, and then you'll see them inside there. That's basically what this video about. Is the highlight is the Monocentropus balfouri. The addition of the Damon diadema was just kind of like for a housing thing. I wanted to do a handful of housings, put them all into one video, but I did talk about these guys for a little bit, so not long. I don't believe it was very long. So you'll be able to see them, the Damon diadema, and then the things that are coming up that I'm working on. A voiceover video, first of all. There'll be a feeding video with a voiceover. So instead of watching one of my spiders wait for 4 minutes to feed, you'll get a 20-25 second clip with a quick voiceover from me on each different clip. Hopefully that's going to turn out okay. If not, I will just use all those videos, compact them a little bit, and do another quick hits video. Then we'll be doing rehoming for spiders that are in the baseball enclosures up there. 3 of them are getting softball enclosures. Synoctimus brachyramosa is definitely going to be one. The Ephebopus murinus is probably going to be the other one. And the third one I'm up in arms about, probably going to be the Sericopelma rubronitans. And then we do have this home here that's empty. Now you'll have this one that's empty, and 3 more just like this that'll be empty, or that are empty, that will need spiders in them. So trying to figure out, do I want to just go ahead and move the Phormictopus cancerides into longer homes because they will grow kind of quickly, and just bite the bullet there, leave these guys in the critter keepers and just deal with it, and then put maybe the Grammostola porteri and Grammostola rosea in those as well, because they're the bigger of the slings that are in some of this stuff. But my Grammostola pulchra over here, I think, is actually the biggest sling out of everybody that's over there. So it may be I move that one into something different. We'll have to see. Yeah, so that's what's coming up, and that's just a preview of what's going on. I'm going to try and do these kind of intros on videos like this. Not all of them, because I tend to want to talk. As you can see, we're already at 2 minutes and 40 seconds. I do end up talking a little bit more than I want to. So we'll leave it here, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. And again, if you have ideas of videos that you want to do or want to see, please comment down below. I'll start making lists of them, and I'll try to knock them out as we go. I'm still off for a while. I'll probably be off all through March would be my guess of work. I don't expect to be back to work before April, depending on if they need to do surgery on this Achilles tendon or not. I think that they probably should have. They're kind of putting it off, and they don't really want to do it. The doctor didn't see a big enough tear to want to do it, but who knows. So again, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let me know what you think, and if you want to see me in front of the camera more like this in the beginning of videos, please let me know. I haven't had anybody say that, no, you shouldn't have been in front of the video. Everyone's been very positive about the last video and me being in front of the camera. So yeah, so that's where we're at. Hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll talk to everybody real soon. Okay, folks, here is the new home for the Monocentropus balfouri communal. It's just a mini football helmet enclosure. I'm hoping this is good for them for the rest of this year, and then next year will be a permanent enclosure. Probably right after Christmas is my goal, would be to get a nice acrylic enclosure for them, for that nice, real nice actual display thing. If it really looks cool enough, I may be able to talk my wife into leaving it in the living room, even though I never spend any time out there. But yeah, so there's, I don't know, about 2 inches, a little bit more than 2 inches in some places, especially in the back. It slopes up. There's a cork bark tube here that goes back, that they can dig back in the back. And of course there's this thing here, this little, well, this light's not good this way, is it? Much better this way. I really have to work on this ring light. Let me get this right for you guys. Maybe this way? No, this way is the best, huh? Yeah, see, the light behind the camera is way better than in front. So this is just like a rock kind of aquarium piece. It's got a nice hole inside, and they can climb up inside that if they want to. So they'll be able to utilize that, and that goes all the way back to the corner. And then, of course, they have this, and they can dig wherever they want to dig. So that's one of the setups I did today. Let me show you the next one. I'm going to get these guys in here. Hopefully, I'm going to start working on it right after I get done filming these next couple things. And hopefully, you'll be able to see the little ones in here. Next up was got some glue inside the cover there. I'll have to get that off. This is a 124 scale die-cast Hobby Lobby enclosure. Hinge, got it with a hacksaw, a little bit uneven. I didn't measure it, I just kind of eyeballed it, and I didn't eyeball it very well. So it does kind of slant, but the purpose is served. And you and I put the Damon diadema in here. I wanted to give it a little bit more room to move around, and also a better enclosure for us to see it in. So I glued some, as you can see, there's background pieces of bark on the back that are pretty flat. He can, or she can, go behind this side if she wanted to. I got to pull that off too, looks like. Boy, I'm getting sloppy. I'm hoping that we get some nice pictures of her here, or him here, you know, right there. So if you look at it this way, we'll turn it. You'll be able to see, hopefully we'll get some pictures of it out here. But it's going to want to try and live in this crevice here, because that's what they do. That's why they're so damn flat, because they like to live in between the, small spaces that they possibly can. But this will give this guy enough room to grow and live in here. I didn't use any kind of substrate. This is just straight sphagnum moss, and my purpose for that was to try and keep moisture in there a little bit easier. We're going to throw some springtails in there. Hopefully they'll be able to eat whatever's going on in there, and whatever kind of dead pieces of carcass I can find to throw in there, they'll take care of. Just a small amount of them, so that they're crawling around and making sure that we don't get mold inside of this thing. But it'll be easier to spray this down and keep some type of humidity, because they are from a jungle. They're a jungle species from Tanzania, so they do tend to not mind a little bit of extra humidity. And I probably went overkill on the holes for that. I did put holes on the top, and then of course there's holes on the side here. So yeah, so hopefully we'll get some better pictures and some better feedings. Maybe not, I don't know. It's going to be there's a lot of area here where crickets and stuff can kind of hang out, so hopefully we'll get some better videos with this guy, because what it was in before was a little bit too hard with those rounded type of enclosures. The way that the plastic is, when you're filming, it almost wants to give you that fishbowl kind of shot. So it's not straight across. So you got that concave area on both sides, and you kind of pick up the plastic on the rounded part for some odd reason. I never had any kind of good success filming in those little paint jars that I have. But I mean, they serve their purpose, and this guy's really, really meandering around. So it's going to hopefully get used to its surroundings. It'll probably end up being right in there is probably where it's going to end up. And that'll probably be where it hangs out. But yeah, really, really cool species. This baby was produced by a Ruth Cowper at Mostly Reptiles. I think she's had two clutches of these so far. I'd like to have a couple more of these. Actually, I wouldn't mind having 3 or 4 of them in here. That would be kind of cool, because you can keep them communally. So at least I believe you can. I'm almost positive you can. So there they are, or there that is. Oh yeah, he's coming over here now. You see how much better we'll be able to visually see this guy. So that was my project for the first part this afternoon. The next part is getting the Monocentropus balfouri slings out of that enclosure. That's going to be a treat. I'm going to do my method of putting the pill vials inside there and try to get one out at a time. Get it into the pill vial, and then transfer it into the new home. Let it get settled in there, and then do the next one. I'm not going to film it because there's no way that enclosure is too small. for me to work. When they get maybe coming out of this enclosure to the next one, I'll film it, but not this one. So stay tuned for the M. balfouris in their home, and we have a few other fewer things to reel. They only had 3 softball containers at Hobby Lobby, so I picked those up. Now I have to decide who's going in them. The Sednoctimus brachyrimosa is definitely going to be one of them, partially because I want to see it and make sure that it's still okay. Probably the Ephebopus marinus will probably be another one, and then most likely the Cercopelma rubronitans will be the last one that'll go in there. And then I'll utilize things like these for hides. The rubronitans could use this, you know, or we have the skulls with the holes in the back. We can also utilize these, and they also have holes on the bottom so the spider can dig down. I'll figure out what I want to do, or I may end up just putting cork bark in there. I don't know. We'll see. So stay tuned for the rest of this new home video. Now see you in a bit. Okay. Yeah, focus for me. Focus for me. 1 balfouri, 2 balfouri, 3 balfouri, 4. Largest. Pretty close to this one here. This one here are, no, maybe not. This one here and this one here are probably about relatively same size. This one's a tad bit smaller. This one is the smallest. Actually, a little bit, very noticeable difference between this guy here and this one here. Now, the question is, the balfouri that I put by himself is probably just a tad bit bigger than that guy there. I was really debating on putting them together. I changed my mind. I decided not to because he is a male. We're pretty sure. So these 4 little dudes are getting ready to go into their new home. Hopefully we'll be able to see them a little bit more, but I'm not very optimistic. If any of you guys have followed Tom's balfouri communal for long periods of time, he couldn't really film anything because they weren't out. They just weren't out. So as they get bigger and older, they're going to be out a little bit more. You're going to see a little bit more behavior outside of their burrow, outside of their webbing, and of course eating. So we're going to get these guys in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1 pill vial at a time. I'm going to put it in there, open it up. What should come out? Hopefully it'll go somewhere where we want it to. And then we'll put the next one in, and the next one, and the next one. We're going to start with the small little guy because this one seems to be getting ready to, I think it's getting close to a molt. It was having a real hard time crawling on this plastic of the enclosure. So I have a funny feeling it's probably nearing a molt. And what I could see, there was at least 4, possibly 5 molts in the container. Now, again, 3 of these came together. I don't know which 3. And then 1 was by itself. And that one was smaller than them. So I'm assuming this is the one that was by itself that I already had here. And these are the 3 that came in from Vlad as part of our trade deal. So let me get them set up, and we'll film putting them in. Okay, so I'm going to put one of these buggers in at a time. I'm just going to put the pill vial in, and then I'm going to just let them crawl out on their own. I have a funny feeling some of them there's a couple that are pretty eager that really want to come out. So I'm sure that once I open that vial in there, they'll come out. If the spider stays in the vial, I'll put the second one in and open that up, and then hopefully we'll just be able to see them crawl right out. Let's see what happens. We'll start with this long one here. If not, I may have to persuade them a little, saying that one's not coming out yet. This is the one I'm pretty sure is going to want to bolt. Okay, so 0 for 2 of coming out. Here's the smallest one. Okay, so maybe they like these. This one's definitely going to come out. It's already at the top. Okay, so 4 vials, 4 balfouris. One's coming out now. We got one out. And he's behind that piece of rock, so let's try and get this vial out now while I can. The quicker I get these things out, the better off I'm going to be. So, now I swear you guys come here and you steal my stuff and hide it on me. Okay, we're going to get the old manipulator here, and we'll see if we can't get this guy out. Come on. Oh, you want to go right back in again, huh? Come on. There you go. It's 2 out. I'm going to be careful because I only have, my eyes can only look one way. I can't cross my eyes, so I can't see 2 things at one time in 2 different places. One's here so far, and as you can see, the other one's back there. So now we'll try to get this little guy out here. This is the smallest one. Okay, so that one's out. You see how it's having a hard time crawling on the plastic. Okay, so 3 out. Now what we'll do, hopefully carefully, is move this one back. And then coax this guy out. This is the biggest one. You can see that one. That's the insane one there. That was actually the first one that I caught because it was out from behind that piece of wood that I had glued to the backside. I like the backdrop of that wood there, but you definitely have, if you're going to do that, you really need to seal it with silicone so that if you don't want the spiders to get back there. Now you see this one here. Oh, well, that one's going to drink. This one here is trying to dig. They will eventually find these burrows. But I found with the balfouri that they really like tight spaces. They're not a huge big burrow kind of species. I mean, once they get bigger, they're going to dig their own little areas. But when you put things in here like them, if you could see now, look. There's probably only enough room to squeeze those spiders in between there and that rock. And most likely those other 2 there will end up over here, and all 4 of them are going to end up in this area. That's probably what's going to happen. So again, we'll keep an eye on these guys over the course of the upcoming weeks. I'm real thrilled about getting them into something bigger. Not that we are going to see them anymore, but at least now, as they start to put on size, I don't have to worry about, doing a rush rehousing. They'll be good in here for, you figure, this one here, probably molt 4-5 times before we have to get them out of this enclosure. Right around the 2.5-inch mark to 3-inch mark per spider is going to be when we need to get them out of this thing. You'd be surprised how much how much room is in here for 4 3-inch spiders. I mean, really would be surprised, especially if they're burrowing down and webbing up their areas. And because they like to be so close to each other in those tight-knit spaces. So I hope you guys enjoyed these. What did I do? Well, just an intro to this, the actual putting them in here, and of course the introduction of the new home for the Damon diadema, which she's doing exactly what I hope she would do. I'll show you that real quick, just because I'm calling her a she, just because I can. You can see, oh, now she moved. I startled. She was sitting right there on the wood in the corner there. So she's got a lot more room to move. These guys got a lot more room to move. And it'll be interesting again to watch them, what they do, where they decide to web, so on and so forth. So I still have 3 more spiders that are going to move into a new home. We're going to get some water. Now they had a water dish that they webbed over. I pulled it out. They webbed over it again. So I was just kind of spraying their web, and that's how they were drinking. This enclosure here will give them a little bit more room. Hopefully they don't web on this side. I'm hoping they don't. They'll leave the water dish so that they can actually come and drink water. So yeah, you want to watch this guy. They don't really have their cool coloring yet. Even though the larger ones are still this dull color like this one is. The color's not there yet. And even my bigger one is still a little dull, but you're starting to see some blue and more cream in that one. And it's actually the offsetting of that blue with that tan or cream color that they have is what makes these things that gorgeous. The 2 colors contrast each other really well. And we're going to go right back to underneath our log. So don't be surprised if that log right there is gonna have a burrow dug underneath it and maybe some webbing done to it. And hopefully they all just kind of, you know, link up and figure out where they're all going to hang out, and they don't start being territorial. I don't really think that's going to be too much of an issue. They live in very close proximity on the in the Socotra Island. They live in a very rocky kind of coastline. It is very rocks. There's tons of rocks, and I think that's why you see them doing this. All 4 of them now are there. The biggest one here, big, next size, little one. So hopefully, well, I'm sure if I have all males out of these 4 plus the other one, I will give up keeping spiders for the rest of my life. Hopefully we'll end up with a female. Now there's certain spiders so far that I've had very bad luck with. I don't want to say bad luck, but male luck. Salmopaeus armenia, Salmopaeus cambridgei. Most of my Brachypelma species are males. And the only 2 Monocentropus balfouris that I've had sexed, I had a mature male, and then of course this one up there that ventrally sexed looked male. Doesn't mean that it actually is, but ventrally it sure did look male. So hopefully, you know, a couple, 2 of these are at least female. They seem to be not too difficult to breed. And you keep the babies with mom for, I think, to about the 1-inch mark, 1 1/4 inch mark, somewhere in that area, or like L4. So they'll molt 3 times before you want to start separating them. I can't imagine that's an easy process, having 60 Monocentropus balfouri in an enclosure with mom, trying to get them out into separate vials. But yeah, something that I'll look forward to in the next few years. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this part of it. Actually, this is going to be the end of it, because the other 3 I'm probably going to do off camera, or I'll do a separate video for, which would be the Sednoctimus brachyhermosa, the Ephebopus murinus, and the Sericopelma rubronitans. Those 3 will be upgraded to softball enclosures, and they're all pretty quick. So I want to make sure, and they're in small things, so it's kind of hard to get vials in there. I'll have to get them into a bigger enclosure. And you can see this one's going down inside underneath now. Big ones over here. So yeah, there's my Monocentropus balfouri communal, new setup. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon. I don't know how soon, but we'll see you again soon.